So this is the TSG61 by MechMaxx. We've run into a little bit of an issue with installing the slip clutch onto the gearbox of the stump grinder. What our problem is this metal casing that's around the slip clutch is made too small for you to be able to reach the bolts. You got two bolts that go in the back of the PTO that hold the PTO shaft onto the gearbox shaft. You cannot get a wrench in there to tighten them up. Also, with adjusting slip clutch, once it's installed, there's no way to get a wrench in on the back side of these bolts to adjust the slip clutch. So my solution is to cut out a hole to where I can reach in with a wrench to tighten up the bolts that hold the PTO shaft on, and as well as tighten up the slip clutch. I just kind of did a rough estimate with a paint marker here. I'm going to take a hole saw bit or a Metabo or something, and I'm going to cut this square out right here to where I can install the bolts. Since I've run into this issue, I have called MechMaxx, and they are shipping out a whole new gray box, but in the meantime, I'm going to try this out and see if it works. To remove this gray casing, you have 12 bolts holding it on. The 4 in the back here are going to be 13 millimeter, and then the 8 right here are going to be 16 millimeter. All right, so now that we got the gray housing off, I'm going to cut a hole on this side. I've got my box made. It's going to be 4 1/8 and 2 5/8 wide. I've got it centered up with where the PTO shaft is on the back. And so now I'm going to cut this out. So I got the gray metal casing installed with our hole cut in it to where we can hopefully adjust our slip clutch once we install it. I went ahead and got all our bolts tightened up on it. And now we're fixing to install the PTO shaft and slip clutch and see how it goes. All right, we have our PTO shaft installed. I have the 2 bolts that hold the PTO shaft onto the gearbox shaft already installed. I'm tightening them up now. I'm using a 3/4 inch socket. I've got an extension with a swivel and then just another extension. I'm going to be tightening them bolts up. Once I get them tightened up, we'll actually be able to run the machine